Hello and welcome to another episode. Now what you see is a Bosch Classic 6 Auto Plus washer, and an error code came up on the screen here. It said F.21. Now let's see what the problem is and see if we can fix it. F.21 means that there may be a problem with your washer draining out the water, which could do with your filter, and that's on the bottom of the machine, as you can see down here. And the other thing is it could be the motor itself. Now the motors in these are pretty good and they do last for many years, but what does go in them is the carbon brushes. So what we do then is we'll do it step by step. So first we will reset it, and then we'll check the filter, clean it out, and then we'll see if the machine will work again. This is where your filter is housed. Just peel that down and you'll see the little lock here, or screw. Just unscrew it and your filter's in there. Now there will be some water come out, so have a towel or whatever handy and a rag that you may need to catch it. And again, then check the filter. Now that seems to be good, so that's possibly one thing ruled out. Put it back in. Good and tight, and clean up the little bit of spilled water. We'll do a reset and then see if the washer works, and we'll see where we go from there. To carry out a reset and get rid of the F.21, what you do is you turn your dial around to the spin position here on the bottom. It will come on. Now I've already cleared the F.21, so I can't get it back up to show you. So once it's down there for about 5 seconds or so, press the rinse button or the spin button over here, hold it in, switch it over to drain, hold it in for about another 3 to 5 seconds, and then switch it off. Now you can switch on your washing machine and see if it operates normally. If not, the F.21 most likely will come back up again. In that case, it's probably the motor or the carbon brushes on the motor. So what we'll do next is we'll have a look at that. On the back of the washer there's 2 screws, one over here and one there. They're T20s. That enables you to remove the top of it if you want to get access to there. And then there's an inspection panel just here. So what we do, you can see here, and if you want to remove that panel, then there's one screw down here. It's a T20 also. So what we do is we'll do that one first. Right, and there you can see the drum. Now I forgot to mention, before you do any of this, disconnect it from the water mains and also unplug it. Now before you do that, if you can, drain the system, drain the washer out, because we're going to lay it over and you could get some spillage. There's a motor down there. It's down at the underneath the drum, and you can just see there where the belt runs down to the motor. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to tip it over on its side, ideally not on the front because you don't want to damage the buttons or the door. Well, we have it on its side now, not quite flat. Put some cushions under so it won't go down hard. There's your motor now, and it's got some plastic covering on it, possibly came in the shipment. And if you look at it or feel around, well, you'll be able to see there's 1, 2, and over this side we have 3, 4. There's 4 screws or bolts holding it in, so we'll have to undo those. Before you do that, then we'll just remove this plastic and unplug it. Now I stand corrected. There was only 2 bolts holding it in. One up here, one down here. These were actually just slides to support it. Now before I undid the bolts over here, I just gently turned the motor and the drum and just rolled the belt off it. And then we have there's the motor, and you can see from my hands it looks like the carbon brushes have well had it. Turn it around, have a look in there, it's quite black, and if you spin the motor there's no resistance whatsoever, so it looks like they're totally shot. Looking in, it's quite black in there, and I suppose you don't have to say much more, it's just that they're shot. Now the carbon brushes on this, there's one there, we'll have to remove those, put in another set. That's one. Turn the motor over, and there's the other one there. Now don't attempt this if you haven't got replacement brushes, and don't attempt this if you're not really sure what you're doing. It's not for everyone. Now just to let you know that the bolts holding in the motor, they're a size 10, ring spanner, open end, and comes off quite easily. Next we'll attempt is replacing the carbon brushes. And this is one of the brushes, and you can see it just there. That's it there. I push it down, there's pretty much nothing there. Now to replace that, what you do then is just remove this little connector here, and you'll see a little metal pin on each side here. It's not so much a pin, but it's like a folded over edge that you will just bend back ever so slightly and it'll release the brush. So we'll do that now. And there we have it. Now it's coming out with quite a bit of carbon dust, and as you're taking it out, just keep an eye on the angle of the brush. As you can see, it's angled that way, so when you're putting in the replacement, put it in the same way. There it is there, and we'll just fit that one. Now that's the replacement brush in, and you can see then I've bent the little pins back over to hold it in place. Now when you're putting on the little connector again, just make sure you put down keep your finger under the bottom part of it to stop the little thing pushing, and it should be back in place. Motor's ready to be reinstalled, and set it up again. That's the motor back in place now. Everything is screwed in and little covers put back on as they should be. Now you can turn it upright, and don't forget, before you start putting everything else back together, don't forget to feed the belt back onto the motor. Okay, so we're all back together. Everything was checked. Hopefully everything is in one piece. And again, before you start it, go back and do a reset again. And a shout out to Wash Machine's Tips and Help for some of the guidance he gave on how to reset a Bosch washer. What we do then is we'll actually just stick it onto a 30-degree wash, press the start button and see what happens. Well, sounds like water's coming in. Just keep a small eye on the drum. Switch on the light there. See if you can see the water coming in. That's just going to fill up and then we should see the drum moving. Now if the drum doesn't move, then unfortunately the motor will be even worse. Yep, there we go. Everything looks good. Now I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, drop a comment if you wish. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have. And you'll find us on the usual social media platforms. Thank you.